Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to draw attention without lifting a finger? They do not enter a room loudly. They do not compete for approval, wave their hands, or exaggerate their presence. And yet, something about them makes you look twice. You notice their presence before you notice their face. You sense an aura, a vibration, a field of energy that cannot quite be explained. It isn't about perfect beauty. It isn't about wearing the most expensive clothes or having the most polished body. It is something else entirely, something deeper. Carl Jung would call this psychic presence. It is the way the unconscious speaks through the body, through gestures, through pauses, through the tone of a voice. Before a word is spoken, the soul has already announced itself. This is why someone who may not fit conventional standards of attractiveness can still radiate something irresistible. They are aligned, their energy is coherent, and that coherence creates magnetism. Attraction, Jung would tell us, is not an act. It is a resonance. It is not about pushing yourself onto others. It is about standing so firmly in yourself that others feel the gravity of your presence. Just like planets circle a star, human attention is drawn to the person whose center is stable, calm, and luminous. When you have aligned your inner and outer life, people sense it instantly. They may not understand it with their minds, but they feel it in their bodies. This is why we must begin with the truth. Attraction is not a trick. It is not a mask you put on. It is not the latest fashion trend or the cleverest pickup line. Real attraction without effort is the natural result of living in harmony with yourself. Jung taught that the self, the true center of the psyche, is always present within us, but often buried under layers of masks, fears, and social conditioning. When the mask or persona dominates, we are scattered, always performing, always seeking validation. But when the self begins to shine through, magnetism arises without effort. Think of the last time you met someone who seemed to carry a kind of quiet confidence. Maybe it was the way they held their body, relaxed but upright, open without demanding attention. Maybe it was the way they listened, their gaze steady, not darting around in search of approval. Maybe it was the way they spoke slowly, giving their words time to breathe, never rushing to impress, never shrinking into apology. You couldn't quite explain why you wanted to keep listening, why you wanted to stay near them, but you did. That is attraction without trying. Notice how different this is from the frantic energy of someone desperate to be noticed. You have seen that too. The exaggerated laugh, the constant interruption, the restless shifting, the hunger in the eyes that says, "Please tell me I'm enough." That energy may grab your attention for a moment, but it does not hold it. Because deep down, you sense the lack of coherence. You sense that the persona is overcompensating, trying to cover the emptiness inside. Jung would say, the unconscious cannot be faked. Others will always sense whether your center is strong or whether it is hollow. This is why the most magnetic people are not always the most conventionally beautiful. They are the ones whose inner posture is aligned. They are the ones who have learned to live without chasing approval. They radiate a message without speaking, "I am whole as I am. I am not performing for you. I am not begging you. I am not trying. I am simply here." And paradoxically, that is when attention flows to them like water toward gravity. Now, this does not mean they are cold or indifferent. Quite the opposite. Their warmth is real, because it is not a performance. When they smile, it is because they feel joy, not because they want to be liked. When they speak, it is because they have something to say, not because they are afraid of silence. This authenticity is magnetic. You cannot fake it, but you can cultivate it. And here is the key insight. Attraction without trying is not an outer technique. It is an inner habit. It is the gradual work of aligning your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and your choices with who you really are. It is the courage to drop the unnecessary masks. It is the willingness to trust silence, to walk into a room without announcing yourself, to let others discover you instead of forcing yourself upon them. Jung believed that what we suppress will rule us from the shadows. The same is true in attraction. If you suppress your authenticity, your neediness leaks through the mask. If you suppress your calm, your anxiety leaks out as overcompensation. If you suppress your individuality, your imitation of others makes you forgettable. But when you bring these forces into the light, when you let the real self breathe, the magnetism becomes natural. So before we go deeper into the specific habits that radiate attractiveness, pause for a moment and reflect. When was the last time you felt truly coherent inside? When your body, your words, and your soul were all aligned? When you did not try, but you were still noticed? That is the feeling we are aiming to cultivate. Not effort, not tricks, not manipulation. Alignment. Because in the end, magnetism is not about what you put on. It is about what you uncover. The attractive person is not someone who has added 1,000 layers of performance. It is someone who has stripped away everything false until only the real essence shines through. That essence is always there within you, waiting to be seen. And as we move forward, I will show you how the simplest daily habits can bring that essence to the surface, so that without even trying, you become the person others cannot help but notice. The energy you project before you speak. Carl Jung believed that every human being carries a field of energy that others can sense even before a single word is spoken. This field is not mystical in the sense of superstition. It is psychological, emotional, and profoundly real. People feel your inner state through micro-expressions, subtle movements, and the rhythm of your body. Attraction, therefore, begins long before anyone notices your face, your hair, or your clothes. It begins in the atmosphere you carry with you. Think of it this way. Two people can walk into the same room. One is conventionally attractive by every external measure, youthful, stylish, well-groomed. Yet something about them feels brittle. Their smile is quick but tense. Their laugh is a little too loud. Their eyes scan the room, searching for approval, trying to measure their worth and how many glances they can collect. The other person may be older, may not fit every standard of beauty, and yet the room feels different when they arrive. They are not rushing, not scanning, not chasing. They walk in with a kind of quiet certainty, as though they belong wherever they go. You find yourself noticing them, even though they are not asking to be noticed. Why? Because energy speaks before appearances. Jung's psychology helps us see what's happening. The first person is dominated by the persona, the mask we wear to impress, to fit in, to be acceptable. But the mask is fragile. It requires constant maintenance, constant approval, constant reinforcement. And because of that, the energy it projects is restless, hungry, even desperate. Others sense this. They may smile politely, they may even admire the surface, but deep down, they feel the tension. The second person, however, radiates something else entirely. Their persona does not dominate them. They are not enslaved to the mask. Instead, they are rooted in the self, the deeper center of the psyche. And when the self is aligned, the energy field becomes calm, coherent, magnetic. Attraction without trying is the natural consequence of coherence. When your inner life and your outer signals match, you emit clarity. Your body is not betraying your words. Your smile is not fighting against hidden insecurity. Your movements are not overcompensating for inner doubt. There is no contradiction in your field. People relax around you because their nervous systems pick up on that alignment. They call it confidence. They call it charisma. But it is something simpler. You are not split. You are whole. Notice what happens in your own body when you meet someone like this. Your breath slows. You feel more present. You lean in without realizing. Their calm becomes contagious. This is why attraction is not only about beauty, it is about regulation. In a world filled with frantic energy, the person who carries stillness becomes irresistible. Jung often emphasized that the unconscious leaks into everything. If you suppress fear, it will leak through restless laughter. If you suppress insecurity, it will leak through exaggerated gestures. If you suppress loneliness, it will leak through overexposure and oversharing. Others will not always be able to name it, but they will feel it. This is why trying too hard always backfires. The unconscious resists, the mask cracks, and the energy reveals the truth. On the other hand, when you begin to accept yourself, both your light and your shadow, your energy shifts. You are no longer hiding parts of yourself, so you no longer need to compensate. You are not performing perfection, so your body relaxes. You are not starving for validation, so your eyes soften. This relaxation is powerful. It tells others without words, I am comfortable in my own skin. I am not here to beg for your approval. I am not here to audition for your affection. I am simply here, and I am enough. Think of the last time you were with someone who didn't rush to fill the silence. Instead of panicking when a pause appeared, they let it breathe. They didn't laugh nervously or scramble for words. They sat with the moment as though it was safe. Didn't that make you feel safe too? Didn't it make you trust them more, want to lean into their presence? That is what Jung meant when he said, the unconscious influences everything. Their calm told your nervous system, here, there is nothing to fear. And so attraction was born, not out of effort, but out of energy. Now, reflect for yourself. What energy do you carry when you enter a room? Are you projecting restlessness, scanning for cues, overcompensating with performance? Or do you walk in with coherence, allowing your breath to steady your body, letting your presence announce itself before you speak? Jung would say, this is not about forcing calm or faking confidence. That would simply be another mask. Instead, it is about turning inward and beginning to integrate the parts of yourself you usually hide. When the shadow is acknowledged, when the unconscious is given space, the performance can end. And when the performance ends, authenticity begins. And authenticity, more than anything else, is magnetic. So remember this. People may see your face, your clothes, or your gestures, but what they truly respond to is your energy. Attraction begins long before words. It begins in the alignment between your inner self and your outer presence. It begins in the aura of coherence that says, I am not fractured, I am whole. And once you cultivate that alignment, you no longer have to try. The work is done silently. Others feel it before they even realize they've turned their head to look at you. The habit of non-need, warmth without clinging. There is something deeply attractive about a person who does not cling. You can feel it immediately. They may be warm, even affectionate, but there is a spaciousness in their presence. They are not leaning on you for constant reassurance. They are not trying to hold you in place with anxious words or desperate glances. Instead, they radiate a kind of quiet independence that makes you want to lean closer, not pull away. Carl Jung would say, this is the difference between energy that flows outward in desperation and energy that circulates inward with balance. When we are ruled by insecurity, our psychic energy rushes outward, grasping at others, begging for their attention, their validation, their presence. But when we are grounded in ourselves, the energy flows differently. It nourishes us first, and only then extends outward as genuine connection. Others can feel this. They may not know why they are drawn to you, but they feel the freedom in your presence. Think for a moment about the last time someone gave you too much too quickly. Maybe they texted constantly, eager for immediate replies. Maybe they hovered, asking again and again if you were okay, if you liked them, if they were enough. On the surface, it may have seemed like care, but underneath, you could feel the pressure. Their attention was not a gift. It was a demand, and demands are heavy. They push people away. Now think of someone who was present, but unhurried. They didn't chase your attention, didn't bombard you with need. They had a life of their own, interests of their own, a calm rhythm that existed whether you were there or not. Their presence felt like an invitation rather than a plea. You wanted to be around them not because they demanded it, but because their independence made space for you. That is the habit of non-need. Jung described individuation as the process of becoming whole, of integrating all the parts of the self so that we are no longer ruled by unconscious hunger. The person who clings is often acting out of shadow, an unacknowledged fear of abandonment, a hidden belief that they are not worthy unless someone else confirms it. This shadow drives them to grasp, to demand, to perform. But the more they cling, the less attractive they become because others sense the wound behind the performance. The person who embodies non-need, however, has begun to face that shadow. They have learned to be alone without collapsing. They have discovered joy in solitude, purpose in their own projects, fulfillment in their own growth. They no longer pour all of their energy outward, begging to be filled by others. And because of this, they radiate freedom. Others feel it, and they are drawn in, not out of pity, but out of admiration, out of curiosity, out of desire. This does not mean coldness. Non-need is not indifference. It is not detachment in the sense of pushing people away. It is warmth without desperation. It is the ability to care without trying to control. It is the strength to love while allowing freedom. And paradoxically, it is this very freedom that deepens attraction. There is an old psychological truth. We value what we cannot entirely control. When someone is always available, always present, always chasing, we stop noticing them. Their energy becomes background noise. But when someone is present yet free, near yet independent, we lean closer. We want to understand them. We want to earn their time. We want to share in their world. Non-need creates mystery, not because they are withholding, but because they are already whole. Jung would remind us that this kind of magnetism is rooted in self-possession. To be self-possessed is not to be arrogant. It is to live from your own center. You can listen to another person deeply without losing yourself in their story. You can enjoy closeness without dissolving your boundaries. You can give attention without demanding it back in equal measure. And this balance is magnetic because it communicates stability. Imagine sitting with someone who listens without rushing, who laughs freely but does not need to dominate the space, who enjoys your company but is not afraid of your absence. Their energy tells you, I enjoy you, but I do not depend on you. I welcome you, but I will not collapse if you walk away. That kind of presence is irresistible because it feels safe. It is love without prison, intimacy without chains. And here is the secret. You cultivate this habit not by pretending you don't care, but by actually building a life you love, by filling your days with work, art, friendships, learning, and play that nourish you whether or not someone is beside you. By learning to sit with your own silence until it no longer feels like loneliness, but like sanctuary. By respecting your own boundaries so deeply that you cannot help but respect the boundaries of others. People will notice this shift. They may not be able to name it, but they will feel the difference. The frantic energy will be gone. The desperation will be gone. In its place will be a calm openness that says, I am whole. I am not here to beg. I am not here to cling. I am here to share, to connect, to enjoy. But I am already complete. And when others sense this, they will be drawn to you without knowing why. They will describe you as attractive, magnetic, captivating. But what they are really feeling is the absence of need. They are feeling the spaciousness that allows love to breathe. This is the paradox. The less you cling, the more others come closer. The less you chase, the more you attract. The more you release the need to control, the more curiosity and desire you inspire. Jung would say this is not manipulation. It is the natural flow of psychic energy when the self, not the shadow, is in command. So remember, non-need is not about pretending to be distant. It is about truly learning to be at home in yourself. When you reach that place, you will find that you no longer have to try. Attraction comes to you as naturally as air flows into the lungs. Style as a symbol. When the outer world mirrors the inner. Carl Jung believed that the psyche speaks in symbols. Dreams, myths, art, and even the smallest choices we make each day carry symbolic weight. And just as our unconscious life reveals itself through dream images at night, it also reveals itself through the way we shape our appearance in the day. What you wear, the way you move, the colors you choose, the textures you prefer, these are not just superficial details. They are symbols. They speak on your behalf before your mouth ever opens. Think about it. Before you exchange a single word with someone, they have already read your style. They notice how you carry yourself, how your clothes fit your body, how your hair frames your face, how your expression rests when you are not performing. None of this is merely decoration. It is atmosphere. It is energy translated into form. Attraction without effort is not about chasing the latest trend, nor about sculpting yourself to match the current ideal. It is about coherence between your inner essence and your outer expression. When the outer reflects the inner, people sense authenticity. They may not analyze it, but they feel it. They feel that you are not hiding, not pretending, not wearing a costume borrowed from someone else's script. They feel that your style is simply an extension of your being. Now consider the opposite. Imagine someone who dresses in expensive clothes, who layers themselves in brand names and follows every seasonal trend. On the surface, they may look impressive, but something feels off. Their eyes don't match the outfit. Their movements don't match the mask. The style does not feel like an expression of self. It feels like a shield against insecurity. You sense the dissonance, and no matter how polished they appear, the magnetism is missing. On the other hand, imagine someone whose clothing is simple, maybe even understated, but chosen with care. The colors seem to suit their temperament. The fit reflects their natural movement. The details feel intentional but unforced. When they walk into the room, you don't notice the clothes as separate objects. You notice the person as a whole. Their outer world is in harmony with their inner world. And that harmony is beautiful. This is why Jung's insight into symbols is so powerful. He would remind us that style is never just style. It is a form of communication between the inner psyche and the outer world. When your style reflects your truth, it becomes magnetic, not because it is loud, but because it is real. Think of the way colors carry psychological weight. Red has always symbolized passion, vitality, and power. Black carries mystery and authority. White conveys purity and openness. Earth tones radiate warmth and approachability. When you choose a color that resonates with your inner mood, you amplify your energy. People feel it. They may not consciously register the color choice, but their body responds. A bold color can announce your confidence without a word. A softer palette can radiate serenity. Your wardrobe, when authentic, becomes your aura made visible. The same is true for posture. Style is not only what you wear, but how you inhabit your body. Imagine two people wearing the same outfit. One slouches, avoids eye contact, folds into themselves. The other stands with quiet dignity, shoulders relaxed, gaze steady, steps unhurried. The difference is not in the fabric. The difference is in the energy embodied. Presence is style. It cannot be bought, but it can be cultivated. And then there is the subtlety of scent. The way a fragrance lingers after someone has left, weaving memory with emotion. Smell is the most ancient of the senses, linked directly to memory and desire. When you choose a fragrance that feels like an extension of yourself, it becomes a signature, a symbol that says without words, "I was here." Long after the conversation ends, the memory of your presence remains. Even silence can be styled. There are people who dress their words in noise, filling every pause with chatter. And there are those who allow silence to rest between sentences, as though they trust the weight of presence itself. That trust is a style. It tells others, I do not need to oversell myself. My presence is enough. And that calm becomes unforgettable. Jung taught that the self always seeks expression. If you suppress it, it will emerge in distorted forms, through masks, imitations, compulsions. But when you allow the self to speak honestly, even your simplest choices radiate magnetism. A ring you wear every day, a hairstyle that frames your natural expression, a jacket that feels like a second skin. These are not trivial. They are symbols. They are messages from the soul to the world. And here is the secret. True style is not about adding layers to impress. It is about subtracting everything false. You strip away what does not belong until only the authentic remains. This is why someone with understated clothing, natural hair, and minimal accessories can sometimes be the most magnetic person in the room. Their presence is uncluttered. Their energy is unmasked. Their outer world has become a mirror of their inner truth. So the next time you choose what to wear, how to walk, how to carry yourself, don't think of it as decoration. Think of it as alignment. Ask yourself, does this reflect me or does this hide me? Does this feel like armor or does this feel like an extension of my soul? If the answer is alignment, you will radiate authenticity. And authenticity, more than beauty, is what makes people turn their heads and wonder about you long after you've left the room. Because in the end, attraction without trying is not about spectacle. It is about coherence. It is about allowing the outer world to reveal the inner truth. And when you master this, when your style becomes a symbol of your essence, you no longer need to demand attention. Attention will come on its own, because people are always drawn to authenticity when they see it. Conversational gravity, the magnetic power of presence. Carl Jung often reminded us that words are not the essence of communication. Energy is. A person can say very little and yet leave a lasting impression, while another can speak endlessly and be forgotten the moment they leave the room. What makes the difference is presence. Presence is not about dominating the space or filling every silence. It is about being fully there. When you listen without rushing, when your eyes meet another's without flinching, when your words arrive slowly, deliberately, as though you have weighed them against your soul, people notice. They feel the gravity in you. They lean closer, not because you are forcing them, but because you are allowing silence and honesty to breathe. This is why the most magnetic conversationalists are not those who speak the most. They are those who give others the feeling of being truly seen. They do not rush to impress. They do not scatter their energy in endless stories. They offer attention, and attention is the rarest gift in the world. Independence as an aura. Attraction without effort is impossible without independence. Jung would call this individuation, the becoming of a whole person, not defined by the crowd, not dependent on another for completion. When you live with purpose, when your days are filled with work, learning, friendships, and passions that matter to you, you stop radiating hunger. You stop asking the world to fill you. Instead, your energy says, I am already alive. You are welcome to join me, but I do not collapse without you. That independence is magnetic. Others feel it. They sense that your joy is not borrowed, that your calm is not conditional. They don't need to rescue you, because you are not drowning. And in a world full of people desperate for validation, the one who is whole stands out like fire in the dark. Segment 7. Archetypes that speak through you. Jung's archetypes live in all of us. Some are more awake in you than others, and when they are expressed, they shape how others perceive you. When the seeker archetype moves through you, people feel your curiosity, your hunger for truth. When the lover awakens, your warmth and vitality radiate, not as performance, but as a natural glow. And when the sovereign stands in you, your boundaries and calm authority create trust wherever you go. You don't announce these archetypes, you embody them. And others sense them long before they understand why they find you compelling. Archetypal energy is universal. It bypasses the mask and speaks directly to the soul. The final thread, becoming unforgettable. Attraction without trying is not about adding tricks to your life. It is about subtraction. You peel away what is false. You drop the frantic effort, the clinging, the performance. You align your outer world with your inner truth. You learn to listen, to pause, to hold your independence with grace. And then something shifts. People turn their heads without knowing why. They describe you as magnetic, but what they are really sensing is coherence. Your energy, your presence, your style, your silence, all of it speaks the same language. I am whole. I am here. I am real. This is what Jung understood. The soul, when aligned, needs no tricks to be attractive. It simply shines, and the world cannot help but notice.